It's not the critic that counts. It's you that chooses that against all odds, I'm going to rewrite my story. So rather than focus on that fear, channel that energy into visualizing your success. Hi, my friend, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, I'm so excited to have you. Please, there's small chops at the corner and a bottle of drink, whatever drink you like, feel free to pick. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for sticking with me. I truly appreciate it. My name is Grace Amoka, a Nigerian teacher, and I share my journey of possibilities. I strongly believe that absolutely nothing limits me as a teacher, and nothing should limit you in whatever pursuit you choose to embark upon in life. Today, I'm going to be sharing something very close to my heart, which is how to overcome the fear of starting something new. Fam, I know that this struggle is something that anybody and everybody can relate to. You've wanted to start writing a book, starting a new job, starting just a new project or a new venture, and there's that fear of what if, so many what ifs. And I'll give you a short example of myself. I remember before I got into this online space, launching my coaching programs and all those fancy things, I was I was afraid. I had so many questions. There were uncertainties. What if nobody listens to me? What if people feel like, oh, what right does she have to call herself an expert in this area? What if people don't buy the products and the services I was selling? What if they laugh at me? What if I make a mess of myself? There were just tons of things. So I can relate with how you're feeling. And I'd like to give you a few steps and tips on how I'm sure you can overcome that fear. But before we go into that, I like to talk about why it feels scary and what are we really afraid of, because when you're able to pinpoint what exactly it is you fear, then that's the first step to overcoming that fear. And the first one, like I said, is the fear of failure. We don't want to try because it's like, what if I try and I mess this up? Yeah, and we're going to be talking about why that shouldn't be a fear that we have. Another one is a fear of judgments. Like I said, people are gonna talk, and I'll give you just a short story that I really like. So I saw this picture. So there were four pictures in one. In the first one, there was a man, his wife, and a camel or donkey. Which one do people use for transport? Let's say donkey. I think it was a donkey. So the man was walking his wife, who was on the donkey, and then people were like, what a foolish man. So he is walking and his wife is the one enjoying the being transported on the donkey. In the second picture, the man was now on the donkey, the wife was pulling the donkey, and people are like, now, wow, what kind of man is this? And inconsiderate, unkind, and all of that about the man. The third picture, they're just like, okay. Both of them were now walking and then pulling the donkey. And then people said, oh, what foolishness. You have a donkey and you're not taking advantage of it. Then the fourth picture, the man and his wife then went on the donkey and they're like, what wicked people. They want to kill the donkey. See how much weight they're putting on the donkey. So my darling, whether you breathe or you don't breathe, people are going to judge you. They're already judging you as you are not doing as well as God has put in you the potential to do. So you might as well give them something good to talk about. So that fear of judgment is what I wanted to address in just giving that short story. The fact that people are going to judge you, whether you do or you do not do. Yeah. And the final fear we typically face is the fear of uncertainty. It's like, what if I put my money in this investment and it doesn't work? And I'm not talking about MMM, you're on your own if you are doing all those Ponzi schemes, yeah? But the fear of uncertainty, what if? And I'm going to give you a formula that in 2024 totally liberated me. I decided to switch that question of what if, because many times when we're what ifing the negative. So what if this doesn't work? What if people laugh at me? What if this and that? And I switched it to say, what if I actually write this book and thousands of people across the world are blessed and their lives are changed because I took that step to write this book? What if I build such a legacy brand that helps thousands of teachers across the world increase their income, their impacts, and their influence? What if I start my speaking academy and I'm able to help thousands of children around the world become more confident leaders and speakers? So if you switch up that what if, it can take away that fear of uncertainty. And I mean, I've already dived into how you can then overcome that's my step one, funny enough. So I put step one, reframe failure as learning. So rather than what if I fail, you can then ask yourself, what will I learn if this doesn't go as I planned? And I know we've been traumatized by that fear of failure. So it stops us from trying, when failure is really just a lesson in how not to do something again. I know many times we read all these inspiring stories about people that tried 10,000 times before they got what it took to eventually make the lights bulb. We like to tell these stories, but when it comes to applying it in our own lives, that's where the problem is. So reframe the failure as, or the fear of failure as, even if I fail, it's just a learning process. A wise man said, sometimes we win, sometimes we learn. Yeah. So reframe your failure as a learning opportunity. The next step is to start small and build momentum. I like to give the illustration, not an illustration. I mean, you have encountered a child learning to walk before. What do? There's no child I've seen that is learning to walk that does not fall. So they take the first step and then they fall. But what do? They get back up. But then we get into adulthood and we just say, I'm not going to walk ever again. No, the child falls, gets back up, continues trying till he or she masters the art of walking. What you're trying to do is you're trying to master the art of writing a book. You're trying to master the art of understanding money. You're trying to master the art of whatever it is, whatever the project or venture is. So start small, build momentum. Rome was not built in a day, but every day they were putting brick upon brick. Yeah. So if you want to write a book, rather than saying, oh, I want to write a book, and then that goal now scares the life of you till you eventually don't do anything, start about starting to write 100 words in a day. Just start. You don't have to. And many times when people get into writing projects, what they try to do is they try to figure out a lot of things in their minds, and I'm like, no, do a first dump. So any idea coming to your mind, just dump it on paper. Just keep writing. So give yourself the goal of writing 100 words per day, and before you know anything, you start to build momentum. Things start to make sense. The dots begin to connect. Yeah, so that's the second step. The third step is focus on your why. Hey. Someone said that motivation doesn't work, and in response to that, the other person says neither does bathing. Because I mean, why do you have your bath today and then tomorrow you're bathing? It doesn't mean yesterday's bath didn't work. No, that's not what it means. Even it's the same thing with motivation. You need to keep at it. You need to go back to, why did I start this? Why was I very excited about this project when I started? That will help you. So remember your why. For me, it's not that I'm excited every day to show up and be the greatest version of Grace Amoka. No, but I remember my why. I remember that every single child that I come in contact with is an opportunity for me to literally shape their future. Because every Mahatma Gandhi, every Adolf Hitler, every Obama, anybody you can think about, you yourself, you were influenced by a significant adult in your life. And as a teacher, I have that privilege to shape the life of a child. As a coach, to the teachers that I work with, I imagine that impacting one teacher has such a ripple effect on hundreds of other students. That's why I show up. That's why I wake up, and even days when I don't feel my best, I I am disciplined enough to focus on why I started, and that keeps me going. See, I love this the fourth step. You remember the story I told you about the man, his wife, and the donkey? The fourth step is to silence every critic. One of my coaches made me listen to a speech by, oh, I don't remember. I remember and put it, like, I'll caption it. It's the title of the speech is The Man in the Arena. And it said that it's not the critic that counts. So it's not the person outside the arena. If you've watched football before, I mean, I don't know so much about football, but there are times you watch football and you're like, he should have kicked it this way. But by the time you enter that field, it's not going to be like that. Yeah? It's not the people on the sidelines watching and cheering that actually count. It's the person that beats resistance and shows up every day in that boxing ring. That's the person that counts. It's not the critic that counts. It's you that chooses that against all odds, I'm going to rewrite my story because I don't like the current version of my life. You are the one that counts. So you need to be able to silence the critics. Because whether you do not do, they are gonna talk. So give them a great story. Yeah, so that's the fourth step. So in silencing the voices of the critics, remember that even for the few people that will judge you wrongly, their opinions do not pay your bills. It doesn't put food on your table, and it does not define your worth. So silence all those voices of the critics, and it will help you. The fifth one, which is, I mean, we're almost done, is visualize success. So rather than focusing on what if I fail, what if I make a mess of myself, what if this isn't perfect, and all of that, just shut your eyes, the eyes of your mind. God said to Abraham, as far as your eyes can see. So visualize success. How would you feel when you see yourself receiving that prize, that Nobel Peace Prize for the impact that you have made in education, in healthcare, in all of that? How would you feel when you hear that in your first year, your book sold 10,000 copies? That means 10,000 human beings across the face of the planet got a chance to hear your voice, to read your thoughts, and be blessed by the bundle of blessing that you are. Visualize the success, how you will stand on that stage, having overcome stage fright, and just speaking to hundreds of people in a room, and their lives are never the same because of you. So rather than focus on that fear, channel that energy into visualizing your success. The sixth one is something that I have tried over and over and over and over again, which is to commit publicly. So commit yourself in public. And public can mean many things. Sometimes it can be your family, your friends, or like in the entire space of social media. I remember one of my workshops, I wasn't ready. I wasn't 100% ready for it. But then what I did was I put a date. So let's say on the 5th of February, I was going to run this workshop, and I put it out there. Because I had put it out there and put out a date, it became harder for me to now say I was not doing again. So was I afraid at some point? Yes. I remember my first few webinars, I'll be like, oh my goodness, what if people don't get results? What if nobody shows up? What if? And over time, I've had hundreds and hundreds of people show up to get the value that I'm offering. It's like this YouTube channel that I started. Oh, what if nobody subscribes? What if nobody views? And all of that. Don't disturb yourself with all of those things. Make the commitments publicly, and then it would just be harder for you to withdraw. So imagine that I say on the 4th of October 2025, which is actually true, I'm going to be launching a book. You all are going to come and drag me and be like, Grace Amoka, you said you're going to launch a book on the 4th of October. We're preparing. We're gearing up to see what you have for us, yeah? So commit publicly. It could be to your friends, it could be to your loved ones, or just maybe out there, yeah? Set a date and share your progress as you go along. And finally, remember, you do not have to be perfect. Oh my God. Perfection is a myth. My coach always reminds me that perfectionism kills progress. Yeah. The focus should be on making progress and not making it perfect. Yes, there's something she says. She says, done is better than perfect. And yes, I'm referring to Tolu Michaels, Coach Tolu Michaels, Pastor Tolu Michaels. She always says, done is better than perfect. So rather than spend all your life, spend all your time trying to, we speak a lot of English. I'm trying to dot all the I's and cross all the T's. It's a lie. You're just procrastinating. Yeah. So rather than focus on perfection, which is a myth, it's a it's a moving target. That's what perfection is. So stop focusing, just get it done. I always like to say there could never have been an iPhone, whatever model is currently, if there was not that first one. You cannot edit what you haven't written. So bring out that first version so you'll be able to see and make it better. Woo! Finally, I'll say starting something new is not about being fearless. It's about learning the symphony and that dance between. I mean, sometimes I'm like, I speak to fear. I'm like, I've tried to let you go, but you've refused to go. So you're gonna come along with me on this journey. We're going to do this together. So, with all the butterflies in my stomach, with all the what ifs and all of that, I channel my energy into positivity and saying, what if this actually changes my life forever? And every single time it has changed my life forever. I want it to do the same for you. So tell me in the comments one thing that you're definitely going to imbibe, one thing that you're going to use from what you've heard. Please share this video with someone you love, just one person that you love, and don't forget to subscribe. I love you so much. Remember, God loves you so much more.